Okay, in continuation, let us talk about um, the part 2, or let's talk about the introduction to tourism law and hospitality part 2. So, at the end of this module or discussion, you should be able to state first the three inherent powers of the government. Two is to understand the Bill of Rights. Three is to define search warrant and warrant of arrest, and state the instances where search and seizure may be made without warrant. Okay, now let's talk about the three inherent powers of the government. So the national and the local government, in their initiative to promote the tourism industry sa mga bansa natin, it must be equipped with the powers necessary for its realizations. In this regard, to be honest, the we believe that the importance of discussing these three inherent powers of government, to wit, ito yung mga police power, eminent domains, and the taxations. So let's talk about the police power. When we say police power, it is the power of the government to regulate laws and properties for public purpose. It is the power of state and regulate behavior to enforce order within their territory for betterment of the health, safety, morals, and general welfare of their inhabitants. Ibig sabihin lang, for example po dito, the government can order the closure of business established if they find such harmful to the public. Like for example, yung mga computer shops, something like that, na malapit sa schools, mga inuman na malapit sa schools, meron po yung kinalaman sa kaya po siya ng police power. Because therefore, pag nakita po kasi nila na merong something bad or something might cause trouble, magkakaroon ng unethical procedures or activities in that place, meron pong karapatan po ang government natin para po sa makahaganda for the safety or the welfare ng mga tao po sa paligid po nito. Another example for that, actually, ito yung, sabi nga dyan, di ba, yung mga businesses daw, as an exercise kasi of the police power, the government can order the closure of the business establishment if they finds meron tayong mga loathsome or harmful in the public. Ang power of eminent domain naman, it is the power of the government to forcibly acquire private property for public purpose, and after payment of the compensation, the government can only order the demolition of the business-specific establishment directly affected by its project after giving its compensation to the owners of the mentioned business establishment. Like for example, as a business owner or ikaw contractor, meron kang gustong i-develop ng business sa specific locations, pero meron pong bahay na nakatayo. Kung kayo po ba yung bahay or nakatira po na tao doon, basta-basta lamang kung like for example, sabi dito na meron akong batas na kailangan mong umalis dyan. Laalis ka ba ng wala? Wala lang, hindi po. Okay, the power of eminent domain, kailangan po kapag mayroon tayong force acquire private property, kailangan po natin bayaran siya ng compensation. Like for example, pag pinilisyohan po siya ng ilang milyon yung lupa na yun, kailangan bilhin mo siya. Kailangan bayaran mo siya kasi yun po yung gusto ng pagbibilang mo ng private property na yun. Ito yung in-acquire niya na compensation para lamang po doon. And when we say naman the power of taxation is the power of the government to acquire revenues. Relevant to this is the power to destroy. In order to limit the establishment of business which may be from or front for prostitutions, the government could regulate it by means of imposing high taxes. Same is true with cigarettes and other alcoholic beverages to which government has been imposing sin taxes. When we say sin taxes, ito po yung mga pinapataw natin ng mataas na tax. Lalo na kung hindi po ito maganda sa community po natin. Like for example, yung alcohol, alak, and cigarettes which cause sa mga health problems na meron po sa community na meron po tayo. Once again, ito po yung mga initiative to promote tourism and hospitality industry in the country para maka-equip po tayo ng power necessarily for realizations po natin. Okay, now let's talk about the Bill of Rights. So, a Bill of Rights, sometimes called Declaration of Rights or Charter of Rights. It is a list of the most important rights to citizens of the country. The purpose is to protect these rights against infringement from public officials and private citizens. The Bill of Rights was enshrined in Article 2 of 1987 Constitutions. However, may pinafocus pa tayo dito ang discussion on provisions more applicable to tourism and hospitality. According to Section 1, no person shall be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor shall any persons be denied the equal protections of the law. Two things must be remembered in the due process of the law. Every person must be notified of the offense that he allegedly committed. He must be given opportunity to be heard. Kaya di ba pag meron tayong mga inuhuli, sabi, meron tayong karapatan to remain silent, di ba? Yung mga ganon. Meron, I request for my lawyer. I need my lawyer. So, hindi ka pwede magbigay ng mga, tawag dito, mga statement mo. Pero kang karapatan tumahimik, something like that. Thus, any employee, lahat ng mga trabahador natin sa industry natin, cannot be dismissed from employment without being notified of the offense he had committed. He must be given reasonable time to explain his side. Ibig sabihin po nito, hindi po tayo basta-basta lamang kayang tanggalin, lalo na kapag regular tayo ng mga employer natin kapag hindi tayo gusto. Kailangan alam natin yung meron silang enough reasons. And of course, it has need to undergo due process. Likewise, ang mga municipal mayor natin cannot order the foreclosure of any tourism businesses establishment without giving the owners notice and opportunity to be heard. Ang due process of law po natin, meron po siyang twofold aspects. Pasensya na po kayo. Talagang ginagawa ni Sir Gento para sa inyo. Kahit may pinapagalitan akong kapatid sa kabilang kwarto, di ba? Ganun tayo kahusay. Again, ang due process of law natin, meron siyang tinatawag na twofold aspects to it. So we have the procedural due process and the substantive due process. Okay. Ang procedural due process natin, it actually refers to the method by which the law is enforced. In this particular process, hearing is necessary before condemnation. The condemnation proceeds only upon inquiry the needs of facts, and judgment is to be given only after trials. Ibig sabihin po nito, di ba kanina sa may substantive natin, ay sa may adjunctive natin, meron tayong procedural process. Ito na po yun. Yung mga procedural due process natin, kailangan dadaan po tayo sa mga hearing. Like for example, annulment, di ba? Pag nakipaghiwalay ka sa iyong asawa. Bago ka makapag-annul, meron tayong mga due process or procedural natin. Na procedural due process na sila kung saan i-hearing tayo. Like for example, yung asawa mo ba, meron ba siyang tamang pag-iisip? Kasi di ba kapag tamang pag-iisip, wala sa tamang pag-iisip, mas madali mo siyang mahiwalayan kasi wala siyang capabilities to understand or to provide for his families. Meron ba siyang mga trabaho? Siya ba ay criminal ba siya? Something like that. Kailangan, like for example, nagnakaw ka, kailangan meron mga due process or procedural due process na kailangan bago ka bigyan ng kaparusahan. In other hand, meron tayong tinatawag na substantive due process. When we say substantive due process, it requires the fairness, justness, and reasonable of the law itself. Arbitrary reasons and firmly grounds are no excuse. Actually, in the word of one, kuli, again in the word of one, kuli, as in Cooley, equal protection of laws signifies that all the persons subject to legislation should be treated alike under like circumstances and conditions, both in privileges conferred and limitation imposed. Okay. Um, Meron tayong tinatawag naman dito na search warrants. Okay, search warrant is under or order in writing issued in the name of the people of the Philippines, signed by a judge. Tandaan na, it was signed by the judge and directed of this officer, commanding him to search for a certain person, property, and bring it before the court. Rules of Court, Rule 126, Section 1. So, warrant of arrest upon the probable cause to be determined personally by judge after examinations under affirmation of the complainant and he witness, he may proceed to particularly describing the person to be arrested. Ibig sabihin po nito, bago ka puntahan sa bahay nyo, bago ka pasukin, kailangan meron silang search warrant. Tandaan po natin ha, meron tayong mga instances wherein search and seizure may be made without warrant. Kailangan pag meron tayong arestuhin, kailangan may pirma po ito ng mga judge natin, yung mga peace officer natin. Kasi pwede po tayong idemanda kapag kumuha tayo ng tao ng mga evidences nang wala po tayong search warrant. So ito yung mga instances wherein search and seizure may be made without warrant. Ito yung mga bagay na, ito yung mga considerations natin na pwede natin gawin kahit wala tayong warrant. Okay? Again, there is consent of waiver, search incident to lawful arrest. In case of contraband of forfeited goods being transported by a ship, mobile or other vehicle, na truck na ibig sabihin po nito, plain view or open eye and hand. Kitang-kita mo nang ginagawa Kitang-kita mo na na siya ng batas. Pwede na siyang kunin. Meron tayong incidental to inspection and of course, routine search usually made at the border or ports. Ibig sabihin, pag meron, like for example, bawal pala yung substance na yung pumanasok mo sa isang port, ayun, pwede ka nang arrestuhin. So, instances wherein arrest may be made without warrant. The rule of court, Rule 113, again, the rule of court, Rule 113, Section 5 provides that under the following circumstances, a peace officer or private persons may arrest a person even without warrant. Again, it is under the rule of the court, Rule 113, Section 5. And Section 3, ito naman yung mga privacy of communication and correspondence shall be inviolable except upon lawful order of the court or when public safety or order requires otherwise as prescribed by the law. So, Section 4. Ang Section 4 naman po natin, meron ba dyan? Section 4. Ang Section 4 po natin, no law shall be passed abridging the freedom of speech, expression, or the press or the right of the people peaceably to assemble the petition of the government for redress of their grievance. Example po dito, yung mga event organizing is one of the prospective fields that hospitality management student may be connected with the after college days. In working with different kinds of people in different occasions, future managers like hospitality management students must be acquired with basic knowledge of freedom of expression. Section 5. Section 5 natin, no law shall be made no law shall be made respecting the establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, the free exercise and enjoyment of the religious profession and worship without discrimination or preference shall forever be allowed. No religious test shall be required for the exercise of civil or political rights. The Philippines is known not only on its natural beauty as a tropical country but as well as on its rich culture and tradition, most acquainted with religions beliefs. Most festivals in the Philippines have religious relevance. The government allows religious practices. The church cannot intervene or matters with the purely government acts. So technically, when you read the sections, ano lang po ba itong mga section po na ito? May iba-iba po siya na batas na pinag-uusapan dito yung mga rights na hindi mga pwedeng gawin natin sa Pilipinas, specifically sa Pilipinas po yan.